we require infrastructure funding from the province to be equitable. The province has approved a new infrastructure funding program for Calgary and Edmonton, but the future of funding for the rest of us is completely unknown. Will your party commit to legislating an adequate, predictable, and sustainable municipal infrastructure funding framework that is linked to provincial revenues?
Well, that question doesn't surprise me at all. So what I thought about is, to me, it's looking at this two different ways. We asked for that when I was mayor of St. Paul as well, and we do need that, because how does a municipality plan for the future and do anything when you're budgeting and you don't know what you're actually budgeting for? And so that is very clear that you need that sustainable funding. Now, what it asked was, should be tied to the budget. So then when I was mayor also, I thought, well, what if the province says the books are in a deficit mode and stuff like that? So there's a trust thing there that I didn't have. I'll be brutally honest, is I thought, well, it's easy for the province to say, hey, we're not in a good position, you don't get nothing. So I didn't like that. But what I really want is what you want. And I think we're here for Alberta and we're here for municipalities. I think there's some way, if we all communicate and we all have some input, I think we're going to do the right thing and get sustainable funding for all municipalities. We just got to figure out the right way. It took a while for Edmonton and Calgary to get that. And I think the other smaller communities are going to get there eventually as well. And our government is there for Alberta, so we will support that.
Thank you. Mr. McIver.
Thank you. The question is funding. Obviously, we will honor the agreements that the two big cities have made with the province. And so the question is, how do we get to the sustainable, predictable funding formula for all the other municipalities? And we are committed to doing that. We will, should we be blessed with the ability to be government, we will sit down with AUMA, RMA, and any individual municipalities that want to talk with us, and we will iron that out. We know that I was listening this morning. I understand that it's you having predictable funding a couple years ahead would help municipalities. As a former municipal councillor myself, I can tell you that will certainly help. Would help a lot of years. And the predictability matters, because if you go and build a project or commit to constructing something a couple of years out, and then the money either goes way down or goes way up, no one ever complains about that. But raise your hand the last time that happened. So if the money goes down, of course, that's a big problem. We need to work together to get past that. And there's more to it than that too. I think the other thing that we can do, by working together, I think we can help you make your dollars that you are getting go farther by cutting red tape, by reducing the number of grant applications. We need to try to work with AUMA to do that. We are open to the discussion about block funding. I heard something about that this morning. So these are, because you know what, you're elected people. The folks that elected you trust you to spend money in a responsible way, and I think that we need to try to work with you if we're a government, as a provincial government, to show the same level of trust to how that money gets spent. And that's within all variables, because different municipalities need different things. I think we saw on the board this morning, smaller municipalities spend more of their money on underground things, and larger municipalities spend more on libraries and parks. And those are the decisions that you should make. And we need to give you the flexibility to make those decisions that are best for your community when we're doing that.
Mr. Combs.
Well, thank you. As I said in my opening remarks, we're really concerned about stability and predictability in funding for you. As we are in the larger picture of the provincial budget and budgeting for the provincial side of things. Now, it was good to see that there's a predictable formula that has been negotiated between the two big cities and the provincial government in terms of how to fund the cities every year. It also came with a rather large drop in funding, which I know was very concerning to the two big city mayors. But in the end, even though the formula is predictable, it's based on very unpredictable provincial royalty revenue, which, as we've seen in the years and decades that we've all lived in Alberta, is really a resource revenue roller coaster. So I'm concerned that even though we're starting to develop predictable formulas tied to provincial revenues, our provincial revenues are so dramatically different from years to years that can really affect your budgeting. The other thing I want to note is that infrastructure is a real investment in the future and can be something that we can invest in for the long term and pay over the long term. So we have to consider whether we can deficit finance large infrastructure projects and pay them over a number of years. The other issue, of course, is that our Alberta provincial government can borrow at the very best rate in the country other than the federal government, I would assume. So it's good to have you guys sharing in the upside and sharing in the downside, but you have to provide those services to your citizens regardless of economic booms or economic downturns. So, and the province can much better shock absorb those ups and downs in the economy and in the provincial revenue much more than you guys can, especially because you're so tied right now in terms of how you can raise revenue and how you can spend and how you can budget. So the Alberta Liberal Party, we're committed to working with you to ensure that you've got stable, predictable funding, that you can invest in infrastructure projects for the long term, that you can take advantage of downtrends in the economy to get shovels in the ground when costs are lower. And first and foremost, I want to listen to you, and we will collaborate with you on the best way to ensure that our cities, which are where most of us live now, and increasingly where more and more of us are living, can really meet the needs of the 21st century in our workforce.
David? Mr. Anderson?
Thank you. And yeah, it's really good listening to everybody else here talk about this stable, predictable funding. And you know, Mr. Khan is right. Through the downturn, we made sure that we funded our municipalities with that MSI because you know these projects needed to get done, obviously. And one of my jobs is to try to make sure that we had until 22, 23, so you guys at least had that predictability while we worked on another formula. You know, I think that it's no secret that every time you know we go into infrastructure builds, there's always more to do. And every municipality I go to, there's a laundry list of things that need to be done: roads, bridges, water, wastewater, things like that. But we are 100% committed to put that in legislation, so you guys have that certainty. I think it's only right that you guys have that certainty. Our people out there don't look at boundaries, municipal boundaries. They see services and they go to where those services are, whether it be rec centers, libraries, what have you. So part of that, you know, with my job in municipal affairs was to make sure that we encourage more people to work together. Obviously, the ICFs, that was part of that, to make sure that we're more efficient in what we're doing. There's a heck of a lot of good work going on in this province already in that respect, pooling our funds together and you know, funding rec centers and things like that, which I think is incredible, and it benefits our citizens, which is the important part, right? But definitely the more predictable funding for you guys going forward is exactly what we want to do. As I said in my opening remarks, it's the one thing that's one of the big things I haven't got to yet. Our discussions have been really good. We got to with Edmonton and Calgary. It was a long haul. It was tough. There was a lot of really hard decisions, obviously. We need to do that with AUMA as well and RMA because you guys deserve it and the citizens deserve it. And it's something I'm committed to. I'm not going to mince words about it. It has to be done. And regardless of what's going on in the world, you guys need that funding. So it's our commitment.